Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm going to be reacting to This is how they teach yoga in America. 20 yoga in 3 months. USA said good Adiyogi. Sorry I laughed when it said USA just because obviously this is how USA does yoga. Which is the thumbnail of the video I'm reacting to, which is studio yoga. I am sorry, it's just that understanding that I'm hoping is the genuine definition of what yoga is meant to be, and the translation of yoga in America is now just stretches. Don't get me wrong, I think there is a stretching yoga. I can't remember what it's called, but there are genuine stretch post yogas. I think I reacted to one of them with Sadhguru talking about it, but what Americans are doing is not that. Not necessarily that. To some degree it might be, but I'm sure most of it is just, breathing. And don't get me wrong, I think it has potentiality, but it's just, I suppose it's kind of like me. Entry level to yogas, but that's all it ever is. And that's the problem for me, is the fact that they say, hey, look, this is an entry level yoga. We're going to teach you basic techniques and what it's meant for, and then if you want to elevate that, there are different classes to further your yoga, your stretching yoga. But I think what they teach you is that this is yoga and there is nothing higher in terms of the stretchy yoga part. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started.
In 3 months' time, you picked up 20 different types of yogas? Any one of them, if you have to master, then it will take lifetimes. 20 different yogas she's offering in 3 months of visiting India as a tourist. You don't get certified this belt, that belt, that belt, You don't get any certificate till he says, till the master says you can use it. Till then, even if somebody comes to kill you, you don't use it. You just die like an ordinary man. Even though you have the potential, with your bare arms you could just knock down 10 people, you don't use it till he approves it. This kind of discipline is enforced.
Forget about the preview intro in the beginning.
How we can increase, this type of method, like you are teaching us now, to most of the people here, when at the same time we are fighting with another system like psychologists, medicines, every little thing they give you a pill and that's it, that is going to solve it. So it's like a big contradiction in, I don't know how we can get more from method like yours.
I would say you don't fight. There's certain ailments obviously you need to go see a doctor for, but in terms of, so long as your physical condition is fine, this is the best way, I think, to do it for in terms of your mental health. I think this is definitely great for your mental health. Physical health, you have to go see your doctor. For your mental health and your spiritual health, you see Sadhguru. Obviously, there are people out there who may not believe this kind of stuff or may have doubts, like heavy doubts on it. You may want to handle like heavy things, psychologists, because psychologists tend to only fix one issue, generally speaking, but they don't teach you how to live life. They help you fix with your psychological issues, but they don't teach you how to live life. And I think what Sadhguru in Eastern philosophy does is teach you how to live life so that you don't necessarily have those mental issues, because you learn how to handle them. But perhaps maybe some of the heavier stuff, if you don't get into this, you may need to seek out a psychologist for, my opinion.
Now, one thing we need to understand is, if you have to bring about a subjective solution to every problem that you have, popping a pill is an objective solution. It is never really a solution, it manages your problem.
Yeah, it's temporary.
In some way, so that you can continue your life to a reasonable extent at least. But if you're seeking a subjective solution, that means you're looking for an absolute solution. If you're looking for an absolute solution like that, it needs to be approached with a certain sense of dedication and commitment. Dedication is a very scarce material in the world, and especially in the Western world, it's a very scarce material because we have encouraged a certain type of thought, all the time. It's the market forces which decide everything. Or it's human greed which decides the course of the society. When we say market forces will decide, what we are saying is it's human greed which is deciding, isn't it? Not human sense, not human love, not human compassion, not human anything, but fundamentally it's greed.
Or desire.
But it's worked. Economically, it's worked out. Other methods that they tried in other parts of the world, where something else was supposed to direct life's well-being, have failed. They have failed not because there's something wrong with the system, they have failed because the wrong kind of people handled it. For example, when you say communism, it's an ugly word here, you're not even supposed to say it. But I want you to understand what communism means. In its essence, what happened is different. In its essence, what it means is that everybody lives according to his need, not according to his greed. It's a wonderful way to live. If it came voluntarily, consciously, it's a wonderful way to live. But when it is enforced with military, it's the ugliest way to live. When Karl Marx dreamt of a communist world someday, what he said was, Karl Marx knew a lot about economics, but knew nothing about human beings. He knew a lot about economics, but he did not understand the human mind.
Yeah, and that's the problem, you have this ideal idea that seems wonderful in paper, but how it works out in the real world doesn't tend to happen that way. Human beings are, I'd say, lazy. They want to do things the easy way, so you'll have people who will try to not do their job, and this is kind of the sad thing. So, do the best with whatever abilities you have. It's not just going to work. You kind of have to, in some sense, enforce it. And, well, communists, because everyone works with their abilities, you have to kind of enforce that militarily. But in terms of a capitalistic world, you don't get anything for free, not like in communism. So you have to work for the things that you have, generally speaking. I don't know if there's obviously people can give you stuff for free. That's one thing. But in the communist world, I think everyone's provided for. So everyone has to contribute. But in the capitalistic world, you don't have to contribute nothing, but you'll also get essentially nothing in return. There are going to be some good people that will try to, take care of you, and sometimes, well, take care of you, but maybe feel sorry for you, and you can be a beggar, and they'll give you stuff. But generally speaking, in terms of a capitalistic world, you have to put an effort to get stuff back. And then in a communistic world, you kind of have to work because everyone's provided for. So you have to contribute what you can. That way food and everything else works. So kind of different ideologies. One is idealistic. If everyone just does what they can without any force, that'd be perfect, wonderful. But then at the same time, in the capitalistic world, you have the freedom to do things, and I think it kind of compensates for people who are lazy, because lazy people have to work in order to get food, so they work a job. Don't get me wrong, it's like they probably do a terrible job sometimes, but there are some people out there who just sees that this is a work I have to do, I'm going to do it, whether they like it or not. That's kind of like me. It's like, whether I like the job or not, I'll do it. I understand that this job, this place, whoever created it had a dream to create this place, and made his dream come true, made their dream come true. So I kind of look at it that way. It's like, if I created my own business, that the people that I hire hopes that they understand that this is my dream, and I hope they make my dream come true. But also, I hope I paid them good enough as well. But people don't think they ever get paid good enough. So, for some parts,
he believed the richest societies in the world will turn communist. They will share what they have with the poorer classes, and the world will be a fantastic place to live.
Too idealistic.
But you always found it is the poorest of the poor societies which always talked about communism. Poor people want to share, rich people don't want to share. When communism came to Russia after the revolution, you know Mark Twain? Mark Twain was so excited about communism. He said, how wonderful it should be that people are actually willing to share what they have with people who don't have and live on equal basis. That's the ultimate dream, isn't it?
Oh, that's another interesting thing. Live an equal basis, but how? What determines what is equal? And that's something that's very difficult to do. I mean, money kinda sets a value to things. Sadly enough. So, for example, when you buy product A versus product B, you have a name brand product and a non-name brand product. You know, it's like, okay, you know, I really like this, but that's too expensive. Then a non-name brand product is cheaper. I'll pay that. So there's ways to determine what the value of something is in a capitalistic world, because people will buy what they can afford, generally speaking. So they'll see, it's like, okay, this product is actually valued about right here, but maybe I can sell it just a little bit more because I'm a name brand product and I make sometimes better quality stuff.
So Mark Twain traveled to Russia to witness this, such a rare event in the world. Never before it's happened. So he was walking on a country road, looking around, really, you know, looking for communism everywhere, everything shared and lived together. To some extent it was happening. To a large extent it was happening, but it was being compelled. It was being enforced.
Kind of have to.
It was not happening out of people's
free will.
wanting to share.
Oh.
One country gentleman was walking with two hens under his arms and he was walking. Mark Twain caught up with him and said, "Comrade, is it true that… are you a communist?" he asked. He said, "Yes, I am a communist, I am a party member." "Is it true that if you had two mansions, you would give away one mansion to somebody who doesn't have?"
Uh-oh.
He said, "Of course, yes, I'm a communist." "Is it true if you had two horse carriages, you would give away one to somebody who doesn't have?" He said, "Yes, of course. I'm a functionary in the party, I would do it." "If you had two hens, would you give away one hen to somebody?" "What the hell, that's all I have." So you're willing to share that which you don't have. This Marx did not understand.
I mean, oddly enough, that is kind of like what they say in America. Like, there is some socialist movement, communist movement a little bit. I don't know how prominent it is, but it's so funny though. They say it's kind of true what Sadhguru is saying, because he kind of experiences like college people who are going to college to get these degrees, and they're like, "Oh yeah, there should be free college, everything should be paid, it should be shared," you know. It's like literally people who do not want to work are the ones that are demanding or requesting these kind of things. It's so weird. And I will say this though, I think most societies are socialist starting off, because you kind of have to. You can't exactly barter for things. You have to work together to build up your civilization. You know, your what's the word? Your culture? No, your civilization. In order to build up civilization, you kind of have to work in a socialist manner. But until you grow up to a certain point, then it becomes obviously kind of capitalistic at that point.
Marx really must be a really wonderful man. He believed that people will share and live. He propounded a whole philosophy. But the whole experiment turned out so ugly simply because it was forcefully enforced.
It had to be.
And another half of the world was doing everything to see that it doesn't work. That was also there. So now, if you want a subjective solution from within, it needs a dedicated approach. For example, the yoga, or even let's say the martial arts that came to United States. You know, about 20 years ago, 25 years ago, these things started coming. See, they need enormous discipline. If you want to go into martial arts, if you learn martial arts in India, for example, not the popular ones have become like this only, but the traditional martial arts, they will put you through enormous discipline. You have to dedicate your whole life to it, you have to surrender to the guru. He will teach you in a certain way that it transforms your life, not just you learn to kick and beat. It's a whole long process. You don't get certificates. You don't get certified this belt, that belt, that belt, You don't get any certificate. Till he says, till the master says you can use it, till then, even if somebody comes to kill you, you don't use it. You just die like an ordinary man. Even though you have the potential, with your bare arms you could just knock down 10 people, you don't use it till he approves it. This kind of discipline is enforced. Because if the subjective science has to work, that's how it is. But that kind of martial arts came to United States. In 10 years' time, just see what happened. It became a kicking culture. Yes? You learn and kick anybody in the face. Now you don't have to kick people down below, you can kick them in the face. You learn the new trick. Now, all the self-discipline which went with it went away. It just became like a fighting force. It was not a fighting force, it was another way of controlling the violence in you and make you very self-disciplined and realize at some point. Similarly, yoga came. Now every street corner has yoga studios, every kind of yoga going on. I usually don't enter the studios, but it happened that 3 years ago, I was in Paris. So this lady, she invited me, and because of some obligation, I ended up in the yoga studio to talk to people there, her students. I entered the yoga studio, a hall like this, and I found she just put up a long board of all the different type of yogas she's teaching. All the different type of thing available, like a menu card. 20 different types of yogas. Mantra yoga, Shakti yoga, Shabda yoga, this yoga, that yoga. I just looked at this and I said, where did you get all this? She said, 3 months I was in India. I said, I was born there. In 3 months' time, you picked up 20 different types of yogas? Any one of them, if you have to master them, it'll take lifetimes. 20 different yogas she's offering.
Now mind you, he did say lifetimes. What if she was? Yeah. I doubt it, honestly, but hey, what if she was? But again, though, it's very much, if it's true that she said she was there for 3 months and knows 20 different yogas, obviously it's just all superficial. Oh my gosh.
In 3 months of visiting India as a tourist. Now, once it becomes like this, obviously subjective sciences are not possible.
Oh, so I was gonna say, what was it? Oh, so, man, I forgot what it was. Anyways, it's something along the lines of the fact that, you can teach people whatever you need to teach them, but it's up to the individuals how they will use it. Kind of like you was talking about the martial arts, that's it. The martial arts was, I think in America they say it's for self-defense purposes. You don't use it to harm other people. But obviously, if you teach this to people, some people are going to use that as a weapon. You can't control everyone, obviously. But you can tell them what it's meant for. But how an individual chooses to use that is going to be up to the individual. And whether to use it for bad or for good, you really don't know. But yeah, I mean, much like the yoga, he's talking about how, going to India for 3 months, mastered 20 different yogas. Amazing! I'm sorry, but I wouldn't doubt it. I'm sure there are people out there who watch YouTube videos about yoga and now they know how to do yoga. They're masters of yoga now. Oh my gosh. Call it American yoga, and just that's it. It has no relations to. It has some relations to the original certain yogas in Indian culture. I'm sure. Like the stretching is. I don't know how genuine it is, but obviously there is stretching in Indian yoga. But I don't know if the stretching they're doing is part of that or not. The idea is there, but whether the functionality is there is a different story. Meditation is there, like obviously there's meditation yoga, but are they doing it right? Are they just sitting there just humming something, thinking that would work? I don't know. And I'm sure there's many out there. There's many just, hey, look, maybe it works for them a little bit. At least it's getting them somewhere, but I don't know. I honestly don't want to say because every possibility is out there. It could literally work for some people, even though it's not quite right, but at least it gives them a little bit of peace. I can't argue with that. But to say that you're a master of yoga or something, that's a bit going too far. Maybe you teach what you know about yoga, and hopefully you direct people in the right direction. Hopefully, if I ever say anything, generally speaking, it's always with a video, so you know who to go with. As I blout out my opinions, you know who the original source of my opinions are from, as in why I'm saying them, should I say. But yeah, and then also I speak from personal experience too, so it's not to say that what I'm saying is 100% right or 100% wrong. This is my experience, and hopefully what I know and what I experience can hopefully you can use that to better yourself or better your decision making or what not to do or what to do, Anyways, that's my reaction to this is how they teach yoga in America. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, the sound down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.